In this week's episode of One Piece, Doflamingo lays the smackdown on the Straw Hat Pirates in this week's action-packed, fight-filled episode. If you like fight scenes and cool flashy moves, this is the episode for you. Everybody got to do a cool move. Sanji, Doflamingo, Trafalgar Law, Fujitora came in on a freaking flying naval battleship. That in and of itself is amazing. And even at the end of the episode, Rebecca was just destroying everybody in the Colosseum. Oh, and newsflash, Bartolomeo still has a hard-on for Zoro. So this was an easy episode to get really hyped about because Sanji versus Doflamingo, that right there is the selling point. But I didn't imagine that Sanji was going to defeat Doflamingo in this episode. They're obviously going to save that for much later on, and we all know it's going to be Luffy versus Doflamingo. Let's not kid ourselves. But I did expect that Sanji was going to get a few good licks in, and he does. After this flurry of fiery kicks, Doflamingo starts to reveal some more of his powers, and he's able to summon this, like, fire whip from his hands. And a lot about his powers are actually revealed this week, and I'm glad they're finally doing this, because his powers have always confused me. I know they've always involved, like, strings and tying up shit and just cutting up limbs, but apparently he's using his strings to attach to clouds, and that's why he's able to stay in the sky. You can't see them, so it gives him the appearance of flying or jumping around. He's basically like Spider-Man with invisible webs. This is a great episode for showcasing Law's abilities, because he got to use them in a number of really cool ways. There was a scene where he traded places with Doflamingo for a second, and then there was the scene where frickin' Fujitora comes in, using his gravity abilities to make the giant battleship fly over the frickin' Thousand Sunny, and then suddenly, he starts to summon giant meteorites to crush them all, but then Law is able to divert those right into the ship itself, and even Fujitora doesn't seem to be too bothered by this. He happens to be eating a bowl of ramen while doing all of this. Law ups the ante of badassery when he tells the Straw Hat Pirates to escape to the island of Zou. I'm not really sure where that's heading in terms of the story yet, but this is all leading to the eventual battle between Doflamingo and Law, because Law takes Giola as a hostage, and they meet each other on this bridge at the end of the episode, and Law doesn't look too excited to get into this fight, and he even implies that there's a good chance that he could die in this battle, and I don't want that to happen, because I think Law's just an incredibly awesome character, but Doflamingo looks like he's ready to have a little bit of fun with this, and maybe that's just because he's always got that shit-eating grin on his face. Aside from that, there's a really funny scene where Bartolomeo was completely just basically jizzing over the fact that Zoro was talking to him, and he just couldn't get over that. And it was really funny how he was looking in and out of the window with all the weird little bubbles around his head. It was just really goofy and completely out of character when you actually, like, look at his outward appearance. He's the perfect example of, you know, looks can be deceiving. And then, of course, you got Rebecca being a badass at the end, getting pushed to the edge of the ring and taking out these three big dudes. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? Pretty good stuff right here. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but Law this week really sold it for me. And even the scene with Fujitora when he came in with his flying battleship, because he's already shown that he can do a lot of different things with his gravity abilities, whether it means pushing people into the ground, summoning meteorites, but now it's been confirmed that he can literally pick things up and move them around and do a lot of crazy things. And considering how big that battleship is, and it didn't seem like he was like straining too hard with controlling it or anything, I can only imagine what he's going to be able to control with his gravity in the future. Like, just imagine. Doflamingo was also incredible this week. I just love how incredibly charismatic he is, even though he has such a shit-eating grin on his face all the time. You just love to hate him. He's such a fantastic villain, and I love that they explained his powers a little bit, and I also love that one scene where you can actually see him standing on the strings. It gives you a great visual of how his powers are going to work. However, if you were to fight Doflamingo out in the open where there are no clouds, he'd probably be a dead duck in the water. However, I don't really know how that's going to go. Otherwise, pretty good episode, only a little slow in the end with the promise of Law versus Doflamingo in the future, so I'm pretty excited. The animation, the artwork, the voice acting, the music was all pretty solid this week. Nothing too crazy, but it was still a really exciting episode. And even though Sanji got defeated, I know he's going to probably do something really awesome in this arc. You can't count him down. Otherwise, Great episode. If you're a fan of Doflamingo, you're going to love it. If you're a fan of Trafalgar Law, you're going to love it even more. So check it out, guys. It's a 9 out of 10 from me. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you leave, make sure to hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. And please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of One Piece. Did you guys have a favorite action scene? And what do you think is going to happen in the battle between Law and Doflamingo? Remember, guys, subscribe to the channel if you've not already so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews, like my most recent review of Sword Art Online 2, Episode 5. Yeah, Kirito uses a lightsaber. Check it out. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and you can check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links for those in the description box below.
Do you like Amazon.com? I know I do. Corey and I now have an Amazon link in our video description box below. And if you go to it and buy anything through Amazon.com, it will support our channel. So bookmark that link, make it happen, and support our channel without having to do a damn thing.
Another great way you guys can help support our channel is by donating directly through our PayPal link in the description box below. We recommend $2 a month, although this is completely optional. But the best way to go about this is by sneaking into your mom's room and taking $2. This way, she won't even notice. And we won't have to shake you up for all of your lunch money. So guys, that concludes this review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.